Back home, South Africans are facing tough times as food inflation is expected to remain high until the next quarter. Dead Rescue's Neil Roots highlighted that South Africa's food inflation rate surged to a 14-year high in March this year, even though food prices eased globally. Well, let's unpack the potential impact of food inflation on consumers with Livhuwani Naledzani, debt counsellor from Debt Rescue. I appreciate your time this evening. Now, talk to us about the basic challenges that consumers are facing at the moment.
Good evening, Hugo. Thank you very much. Good evening to all the listeners. South Africans are really struggling at this current stage. They are already turning everything, credit card to put food on the table. They are relying on paydays, loans for them to be able to survive. Before they can even pay the credit card, they've already maxed up their credit cards. They cannot even, they are even paying food on credit because of the high interest rate in South Africa. And then it is so devastating for consumers whose budget are affected by the increasing living expenses because of inflation and increasing debt because of interest rate hikes. So they are really struggling.
So Livhuwani, as a debt counsellor, there must be numerous conversations that you are having with consumers that are obviously indebted or looking to restructure their debts. What are some of the potential solutions that are available to individuals that are struggling during this time?
We normally advise our consumers that are contacting us on a daily basis. They wanted to find out a solution to their problem. How can they manage their debts, whereas on the other hand, they need money to survive for the everyday living expenses. So as a debt counselor, we sit down with them, we draft a budget for them in order for us to see exactly as to how much do they need to survive. And then we check how much are they owing towards their debts. And it's very, very devastating because these consumers, they barely have nothing. They cannot even survive. They are relying on the credit cards, which are already maxed. So we sit down with them, we draft a budget for them, and then let them see the best solution for them. We normally work out a best solution for them in most, which is debt killing, whereby we will just restructure their debts to give them enough to survive at the end of the day, while on the other hand, they are busy paying their debts.
Now, who suffers the most in these instances? Because obviously, they've got loans to pay off, kids that need to go to school. So when they start tightening the belt, what seems to fall off immediately?
Obviously, consumers are the ones that are affected because at the end of the day, they end up not even having that credit card available because it's already maxed. Most of the consumers do approach us. They will just come to us and explain to us that at this present moment, they cannot even qualify for a loan or for a credit card to survive. So they end up running to the illegal sharks, whereby they are charging them a very high interest rate there. So the consumers are the one that suffers most. They cannot even pay for a minimum living expenses.
Now, debt restructure is obviously one of the options that's available to dealing with this. Now, how easy is that process? You know, when you go to your bank, for instance, and you're paying off your mortgage and you're looking to have your debt restructured, yes. Is it a simple conversation?
Debt review, debt restructuring is a very, very easy and simple steps that the consumer needs to follow. Because when they do approach us, what we do, we look at their situation, immediately we restructure their debts, we put them in a long-term arrangement with the creditors whereby, depending on how much are they owing, depending on the type of debts that they have, we draft a long repayment plan for them so that they can also have enough money to survive. So for them to go under debt counseling, it's very, very, very quick and easy, and it relieves stress very easy.
Now, one of the things that we've been talking about is Eskom's power outages and escalating food costs, I beg your pardon, and the consumer price index and inflation rate, potentially influencing the likelihood of another interest rate increase. Do you think that the South African population can deal with another increase in interest rates? I beg your pardon, getting tongue-tied there.
At this present moment, I don't think they can. Because as it is right now, consumers are relying on credit just to put food on the table. So power outages and load shedding means that producers, manufacturers, and even farmers have to buy equipment to continue their businesses, which is affecting them very negatively. So those additional costs they may incur mean that their production cost increases, which at the end of the day is going to affect just a normal consumer. So unfortunately, it's the consumer are the one that suffers most on these power outages and load shedding.
Now, some of the conversations that you're having with individuals that come to you, obviously as a debt counselor, are varied. But I'd like to imagine that business is good for you, though, in spite of this. I mean, the difficulty of life for many people is a rise in business for you. Is this how you see it?
Well, yes. I can say many consumers are approaching debt counseling because they know that this is the only legal way that they can be able to mediate with their credit providers. We do have a lot of consumers that are approaching us on a daily basis, and even at this stage, it's like this load shedding, interest rate hikes and everything. It has affected everyone. So whether you are a high income earner, low income earner, and middle income, you are affected by this because no one is affording at the moment. So yes, we do see a lot of consumers approaching us, asking for advice. Some, even though we cannot be able to assist, but what we do, we offer them advice and as to where can they go for assistance.
And where is it that they go for assistance? Because I worry about a lot of individuals that don't have a plan B. I mean, as you get older, for instance, if you're relying on a pension and that pension is eroded and you're unable to meet your obligations, the ability of a 60-year-old or 70-year-old individual to make a plan, so to speak, or hustle, as many of us do, is not the same.
Yeah. But I remember what happens is, even though debt counseling is helping a lot of consumers, currently at this stage, a lot of consumers are being helped by debt counseling. But you do find out that there's some situation whereby a consumer is not really over-indebted. A consumer we just need to teach them how to budget, where to cut, all those unnecessary expenses. So those are the people that you find that they don't really need debt counseling. They just need to restructure their living expenses. They do have enough money, but they don't know how to use it, where to use it. So those are the people that we just offer a free a budget advice, and then at the end of the day, they come right.
Well, appreciate your time, and hopefully many more consumers come right. Livhuwani Naledzani, debt counsellor from Debt Rescue. In a moment, we carry on with the news.